DL Gaming Podcast. I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick.
I'm the dust underneath your keyboard keys that you can't get without popping them off. I want to
Oh,
take them all off and clean it all, but then I am so scared that I don't know where all the buttons go by memory. I guess I could
why is it?
Yeah, I guess you could pull
bring
up
a picture beforehand, right?
picture. Yeah.
Or take a picture, I guess.
Yeah, or you
Really,
could
I'm just a slob, and then I made this up so that I don't ever have to clean it.
well, if you get a can of aerosol or something, you could blow that out pretty well underneath the keys.
Not when it's fucking like solid old spaghetti.
Yeah, just buy a new keyboard.
Dude, that bloody keyboard,
Uh.
dude. It's been solid this entire time. I've never had an issue with it.
It's lasted a long time. Man.
Yeah, Bloody Keyboards. Here's a little plug for them. We used to have a little agreement with them a long time ago. Light Strike. Is that still a thing?
It must be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about on the radar games that have come to our attention this week. So there's a game that I wanted to talk about. It is coming out in just a few days here, maybe by the time this episode releases. It's called Dice Legacy. So this is a roguelike city builder, but here's the twist. You use dice almost like villagers. It's got a really interesting mechanic where you can place these dice in buildings or in areas of your city and you roll them. So there's a really random element to it. And then if you, so there's a lot of like chance to it as well, which makes it kind of exciting. But you roll them and that determines what they'll do, I guess. And you can have your dice do everything that your citizens would normally do in a city builder game. You know how you usually have just peasants and you send them out, some chop lumber, some mine gold, this and that. So this takes that part away and instead puts in this dice system that looks really interesting. I watched a couple videos on it and I still didn't quite fully understand it, but I'm excited to see how this plays out. I like the idea of strategy, but also a lot of luck.
Yeah.
To make it exciting. Sometimes you can feel cheated when that happens, though. You can also put the dice together to have them reproduce and make other dice. But yeah, lots of interesting things happening here.
So strange, man. Until somebody actually gets their hands on this, it's really hard to say how this is going to be. I do want to comment on the actual world itself. It doesn't look like you're on a round planet. It's like one of these rim worlds or ring worlds where it's a big circle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a ring world.
Yeah. That's fucking really cool.
Yeah,
It's so funny looking.
yeah. I mean, the graphics look fine to me. There is a demo out, I believe, that you can play. I don't know if it's on Steam, but I've heard there is a demo, a playable demo out there, so you could check it out. And I don't know what the price is going to be, but it's coming out on the 9th of this month.
Cool. Do you know if this was part of the whole PAX thing?
I don't think so.
So I signed on to PAX this morning. To Steam this morning. I saw PAX at the very top, and so I jumped on there. You know, we're all about the indie titles, and I started downloading demos and started playing them. So almost everything that I'm about to talk about, I actually played today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think there's one missing. So I played Summoner's Fate, which is it's a card-based RPG. Really basic graphics, but a lot of cool little mechanics. You play as a summoner, so you're adventuring through there, and you're summoning little things, little creatures like squirrels and stuff, and then you could buff them. I'm sure they get bigger and meaner towards the end. And there's some RNG in there too. I remember there's a bear in a cage, and then if I let the bear out, I roll the die, 1 through 10 it attacks me, 11 through 19 it just leaves me alone, and then 20 I keep him as a pet, and
wow.
you can add more dice to give yourself advantage. And as you're playing, the dice just drop, right? So I was picking up dice. So I put 3 dice and I got the 20. And so I had this bear just mauling everything. So that's a lot of the RNG in the game. But the game was actually fun. It looks super simple, but it plays out almost more as a puzzle game in a way, because of the way that it's turn-based, and you have to manage your positioning, your spells, and all that stuff. It was fun. I will probably take another look at it once it has full release. Didn't
Hmm.
blow my hair back, but definitely good. Better than it looks. It's better than it looks for sure.
Yeah, the graphics don't do much for this game. I mean,
I,
they're pretty simple, but
oh,
Yeah.
a couple things that I did like about this that's outside of the game itself. One, the character's always looking up at you, your character,
That's
because
so weird. I
she,
noticed that too. It's
yeah,
so weird.
she's looking up to you for guidance because you're the guide, and in their little world, the player is kind of like this demigod, and they have this whole like little story about who you are, who they are, and the beginning of time for them is like when the game started production and stuff, and it's really funny. Yeah, I thought it was really clever how they worked it in there.
That is pretty. Yeah, that's actually pretty fucking funny, man.
Yeah, the demo is super short, but definitely worth playing. I would anybody listening, if any of it sounded kind of cool. Definitely. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything, and you're done in like 20 minutes.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
Nick.
So for me, I saw a game and I'm like, what the fuck? Who names a game Fist? And it looks really interesting. First of all, it looks like a Mega Man clone, but it has nice graphics. And Fist is an acronym for Forged and Shadow Torch. And you play as what looks to be like a hare, like as in like rabbit, and you have a giant fist on your back, and it's a side scroller, and you're constantly beating shit up. There's a bunch of powers and abilities that you get from like buying them or from bosses, and then there's like a combo system that involves like pounding people into the ground or shooting them in the air or bouncing them off of walls, and it looks really interesting.
Yeah, graphics look cool.
Yeah, it's a little anime-ish from what I've seen already. Like the trailer, like you know how like they do like voiceovers for the trailer. There's always like this thing in anime where like people are really breathy. As weird as that sounds, they're like ooh, like and like if like there's a scene in Final Fantasy after you defeat like Final Fantasy VII remake after you defeat the first like boss like the spider tank or whatever, and like three different characters like breathe for a solid like 9 seconds straight. Like it's like like it's like what the fuck?
So fisting is
Yeah,
has a lot of breathing.
a
Is what
lot
you're
of
saying.
breathing and fisting. So yeah, it's called fist or
You got to breathe,
fist
man.
or Forge and Shadow Torch.
It's a lot to take in when you're fisting.
Yeah,
You got
no,
to
you
breathe.
gotta
You got to
take
breathe
it
through
slow.
that. Yeah, take it slow.
It's a team
Um,
effort.
I don't think it looks bad.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know.
not seeing
It
much from
depends
their
on the
single
price. If it's
page.
like $10, I'll fucking play it.
Yeah, it's a 2D side scroller.
Combos look good. Cool. All right, one other game I wanted to talk about, and I'm sorry for bringing this up. Cookie Clicker.
Oh, jeez,
Yeah.
Rick.
This has been released on Steam recently. This is a game from 2013 that was, I feel like back then we were kind of going through this phase where people were making these really stupid games and it was kind of a meme to play them. And it was kind of also commenting on like, oh, some gamers will just play anything. You're literally just clicking on cookies. That's all you're doing. If you click on enough, then it gives you like, 2x clicks or something. Similar to when we played Core. Remember, I played all those ridiculous games, the one with the
Yeah.
blowing up the balloons. Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Ooh, thank you.
But this has gotten a Steam release, and I guess people are memeing it again because it's got overwhelmingly positive reviews. It's got achievements. It's got the whole shebang.
Bro,
So
tell me there's like fucking in-game purchases where you can buy like a different kind of cookie. Like, oh, this is Raisin Bran cookie. This is the one I've clicked a bajillion times.
I don't know and I don't care.
Bro, you're not gonna play this? This is
Of course
come
not,
on,
dude.
man.
I value my time. What am I, 15? I'm not gonna play this shit.
I've played one of these. Well, what is that indie publisher that I always the Devolver Digital? They have one. It has something. It's like a potato that you're clicking, and then eventually you go to space. I played it for like a full day.
Yeah, that's the thing. You always play it,
Yeah.
and you're like, "This is
What
so
am I-
stupid. Why am I playing it?"
Yeah,
And you know what's messed up is a couple of years ago, Steam actually had a version of this built into one of their summer or winter sales. They used to go really big on those. Now it's just kind of like, "Hey, here's a sale,
yeah.
a few cosmetic stuff, whatever." But they used to go all out with some things, and they had this own custom made game that was basically a clicker game, and I think it did
Hmm.
pretty well actually.
Yeah, that's
55,000 people playing this game today. Cookie
Jesus
clicker.
Christ, dude. It's like
So funny.
it makes you
It's the
like
world we live in.
if I I'm just a guy on a podcast, but if I was like a game dev and I poured my heart into this game and I'm getting like 200 people max concurrent players, and then I see this, I would lose my mind. I think I would lose my mind.
man.
Ooh, I like that. Look at the third one. Click, 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 click.
Click,
People
click,
are
click,
just
click, click.
ruining their mice with this game.
Yeah,
All right, so
What do
that's
you
all I
call
want
it,
to say about that. Don't play that game.
yeah. Don't play that
Yeah,
game.
don't play that game.
This game I did not play the demo for, but I am pretty excited about it. Out of everything that came out of PAX that I saw, this means Warp. I am pretty excited about. So what it looks like to me is a multiplayer FTL. Um, you have that cross section cut of the top of your ship. You're looking down. You have multiple players. Tending to different things about the ship, and then you're in combat with AI, and I just that right there is a fucking huge selling point for me. The graphics are a little bit cartoony, look really clean. I like the way they look. Yeah, I hope this is everything that I hope I want it to be.
So it looks like it's co-op, and
Yeah.
it kind of
Yeah.
looks like the combat you have in FTL a little bit.
That I said all of those things.
Oh,
He just said that.
sorry.
I said it's a multiplayer FTL. That's what I
Okay.
just said. Thanks, bud.
I was busy watching the video. Sorry,
Oh.
my attention is waning.
It's okay. Especially when it comes to you. Um, it's I guess it's okay that your ship takes up 60% of the screen because you run around and take care of different things. It makes their ships look so weird and small. I don't know how much story there is here. It's a roguelike. I think there's a great like game night game or just a couple buddies getting together and playing this. Sounds awesome.
Randomized.
It looks
yeah.
pretty interesting to me.
Yeah, this looks good.
This
When's
is
the
like if you
release
get
date?
fucked up, you'd be able to play even crazier shit.
January. So it's a ways
Nice.
off.
Okay.
Anything
still
can happen
something.
between here and there.
Yeah.
Clever title too.
So one of the games that I looked up, well, not looked up, but I found it was just like in my YouTube recommended. Like I don't watch game trailers all that often, but it was just like check out this game, and I was like, oh, there's a dinosaur, and it's called Prehistoric Kingdom.
Bobby just sat up.
And
He's going to listen
Hey,
to
no,
every word you say.
I like dinosaur games, but I will be the first to say that like 80% of them are really bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
I would
oh
say
yeah.
90 maybe.
So Prehistoric Kingdom is a Jurassic Park clone-ish. From what their devs have said, they're trying to make it even more detailed than what Jurassic Park allows you to do. They also want to be historically accurate with most of the dinosaurs. So, like, you're going to see some dinosaurs with feathers. You're going to see some with scales. They promise that the game is bigger, more involved. However, the game is not going to release until like 2022. Some of the tease things is like breeding and like phenotypes and genotypes and stuff like that, as far as like how your dinosaurs look. But it looks really cool. I don't know.
Good luck beating Jurassic Park Evolution. They're on their second iteration. The first game was very good, according to a few people.
Yeah. Well, Jurassic World Evolution.
Jurassic World Evolution.
But you know what though? Like I totally had that same reaction, but then at the same time, my one minor complaint about Jurassic World Evolution was that it wasn't that complex. You got to a point where, okay, I know how everything works, and you felt like you were just going through the motions. I think if they pull this off and they have something a little more in depth and complex, it'll appeal to a lot of people. But
it looks more realistic.
mhm.
Yeah, it just like one thing that they're talking about is like scientific accuracy,
Yeah.
and like that's like a big thing for them. So I don't know. I'm all for that. Like I
Nick,
just want to see what the final product is and some reviews before I slap however much I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be $24.99.
Nick, have you played Jurassic World Evolution?
I have not, but I've heard plenty of things about it, and Leslie owns it, so I personally have not played it.
Might be on Game Pass. Not sure.
I think
Uh,
it is. I think
yeah.
you're right.
Um, Gatewalkers. There's another demo that I played. Speaking about
Yeah.
realism, so this is an action RPG. Um, I don't know what to call this anymore. Like, I know it's easy to say Souls like because um, a little pizza slice shows up right before they attack, and you move out of the pizza slice, and then you don't get hit. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like
Hmm.
the cone.
Um.
Here's the cone effect that he's about
Oh
to
yeah,
swipe,
I see what
and
you're
so
saying. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you usually have a dodge. That's a lot of times that's what Souls like goes with. But what I
Means yeah.
haven't seen is that you attack in the same way, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Um,
Hmm.
you have your blue pizza slice, so you bring up this like reticle, and then you attack, and so you get out of their combat area, and then you attack. It's pretty cool. I enjoyed that quite a bit. But the game itself is this like action RPG that's also a survival game in a way.
Huh.
So it's like pretty. It's going for realism, right? So you got to eat, you got to drink, you got to harvest wood and all that stuff. But it doesn't really feel like a grind because as you're on your mission to go do whatever, you're just picking up things on the way, and that seems to be enough. I know later in the game there will probably be times where I have to go search out for stuff, but the story is that you live on this um, planet that's dying, and in your last city, you find the portal, and the portal takes you to different worlds, and you go to those
Hmm.
worlds and you harvest stuff, you bring it back as bad guys, of course. And as you go there, there's also this like, I mean, it's very Stargate. I was playing with Rusty Bagels today. We actually co-op throughout the whole thing, and
Rusty bagels.
and so yeah, it feels a lot like Stargate because you have this like ancient tech, and then they're finding like super high level robots and tech, but it's all ancient, right? And then of course there's robots protecting the stuff, and so it's this mix of like really old prehistoric, and then this other side where because the planets are like that, where you come from is kind of like medieval, and then the stuff that you're researching is like high tech,
Huh.
and you have all that going on. Plus, you have you're unlocking recipes for your crafting. There's a lot of crafting to unlock. Um, yeah, it's really interesting. It has a lot going on for it. The graphics are pretty good for being an indie developer. I think this is like their second game after an oil drilling game. So and it's like point 0.5 right now. So they have a long way to go. And I mean, just to have the multiplayer working at this point, and we found each other easy. He had a couple loading issues, but once we got going, everything was working just fine. I think it's a really promising game, actually. It,
Hmm.
the thing about playing like a Diablo or something like that, it's just hack slash hack slash hack slash,
Yeah.
and there's not a whole lot to break it up. And this game it's that, but the combat's more entertaining. I found because you got the whole dodging mechanic going on, and you're trying to land blows and not get hit as well instead of just left click or whatever doing your attack combo that you would in Diablo, and then you have the whole crafting aspect. Yeah, I mean this is good. Like I said, has a lot of promise. I hope they pull it off.
All right.
Yep.
I feel like these games, like these Diablo clones, are anything similar to them. Like those are like the one genre of games that I wait for like reviews, or if like a friend gets it, I'll be like, hey man, what do you think about it? Just because there's so many of them,
It's pretty
and I
much
don't know. I
every
just
game for me now.
Yeah.
really.
Well, let's talk about the games that we have been playing here. I have continued to play Stardew Valley, and I have kind of reached the end of the content, I believe. So the latest update was 1.5. That was the last big update. And I talked last week about how I'd been exploring a lot of the new stuff they had in there, but what I hadn't really got into at that point was the new island, the tropical island that they had put in the 1.5 patch. Um, this is a really large area that you can build an entirely new farm on. There is a giant volcano that you can explore, and that's where you do your fighting as well. And there's all sorts of new crops that you can grow that make lots more money. I have to redo my whole farm now. Excuse me. But yeah, it's just totally changed everything going to this new island, and it's a lot of fun. But it got me thinking, like, I feel like I'm kind of saturating this game, and this is probably going to be the last bit I play of it. There's really no beating Stardew Valley.
Yeah, of course.
There's no final boss. There's no end game. There's nothing like that. Yet people continue to play this game. There's lots of speed runners and people just making YouTube content for it, finding interesting and fun things to do in it. They had that $40,000 tournament recently. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. It just happened yesterday on the 4th, and it was $40,000 put up by the creator of the game, and it looked like they were grouping up in teams. So it's like groups of 4, and they had all these random things that they were supposed to do. I watched a little bit of it, a little bit of the replay, and I don't know, it wasn't that interesting. Kind of hard to make an esport out of Stardew Valley, but it's cool that somebody's doing it.
So you saved the town. You got
sir.
rid of Walmart or whatever it was.
Yeah, Jojo Mart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you still handing out beer like it's fucking free? Like,
I haven't had
are
as
you
much
still
time to
bribing
buy
children
beer
with
runs
beer?
yet. Yeah, beer and diamonds. They love those. But yeah, I was working on that. But no, I've fully converted. I got rid of all of my animals, and I'm fully converted to wine. And I've been trying to find the fruit that makes the most money. But this tropical island has pineapples, and apparently that's the cash crop. So I've been slowly converting all my crops over to pineapple and pumping out the wine. And yeah, I don't know where I'm going with it. Like, I can kind of see the end. I want to explore the volcano, but that's really about it. I know there's a lot of like weapons you can craft, and there's enchantments you can do, like some new stuff like that. But I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of getting to the point with this game where I'm like, all right. And I'm reaching the 200-hour mark on it as well. I've got almost 200 hours in this game.
Damn.
Now, of course, that's not all in this one playthrough. I've played this many times with other people, but
Yeah, but still,
yeah,
the lion's share has been recently, right?
no.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Bobby, are beasts of burden a thing? Like, do you have them plow your fields and stuff?
I have a horse, which I just recently found by accident that you can put a hat on your horse. I did it by accident, and I was like, oh, okay. All right, I guess you're wearing a hat now.
Welcome to the team, buddy.
No, you
get a
have
hat.
cows, chickens, ducks, and they lay eggs, and you can milk them. Pigs that find truffles, but no, you don't really have like. Well, real farms don't have that anymore. It's all mechanical.
Yeah,
right?
but there's no mechanic.
Yeah.
There's no mechanical.
Now you got to get out there with your hoe and your shovel and do it yourself.
Do it yourself.
You really got to work, man. This
Yeah.
is real shit. This is real video game work.
Cool. I'm glad you're like seeing the end. There's light at the end of the tunnel.
The end is near.
We're gonna cut next week.
You're not going to hear about this every week. It's not going to be another Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, right. You're gonna be like, I discovered sheep. I am now a sheep farmer. Behold my wine and sheep kingdom.
Well, like I did a lot of variety at the beginning. Like I literally did. And another thing too. I don't know if I talked about this last week, but you can do fish ponds as well.
Oh,
so you
yeah,
can
yeah.
have the fish farm, which is cool. But I've literally done like everything that the game has now. And I was looking at it. There's really no plans for a 1.6 update. They're still working on getting the 1.5 moved over to mobile right now. And it came out for PC almost a year ago, 9 months ago, a long time ago. So it's not like there's a new chunk of content coming around the pike. You know, this is going to be it for a while.
It's time for part 2 anyway. I mean,
Stardew Valley 2.
yeah,
Stardew Valley
for
2.
Now that guy has so much money. He's doing $40,000 tournaments. He could just hire a bunch of people to do most of the coding for him.
Well, I
and
think he
just-
already has done a lot of outsourcing, especially with the mobile stuff. But yeah, if you read that really popular book that always gets recommended, which one, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels.
Yeah,
There's a whole chapter on Eric Barone, the creator of Stardew Valley. That's really interesting.
that's so funny. I
Interesting.
was just gonna bring up Guns, Germs, and Steel, which I think probably influenced that title. It's a good book though. Probably you should pick it up. It's
Hmm.
about. Never mind.
I feel like all the titles are blank, blank,
It's
and
about
blank,
never mind.
colon, super long subtitle.
Yeah. So the one game that it's funny because I played these demos longer than I played Shieldwall, but I'll talk about it a little bit. We've talked about how interesting of a game this looks, and how we can't really put a finger on how this really plays out. And after 45 minutes of getting slaughtered over and over and over and over, I still don't know how to play it. You play as like a legionnaire, like the commander, and you have a gold ticker that goes up, and as you capture points, you get more gold, and you can just hire recruits. That's that's actually kind of cute. They come around from like you never see them actually spawn. They always come around from something, so they're coming at you
Yeah.
from all angles. And you played this, Nick?
I've seen a lot of gameplay because I wanted to see how it's like,
Yeah,
and it is pretty cute.
yeah.
But it's a rough game. There's a big learning curve.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty rough. I was like, easy or normal, normal, and yeah, and I just got slaughtered for 45 minutes. Um, there's not a whole lot to it. It's early in its development. Yeah, it's 0.07 right now, 0.7. Um, and it like everything that I played was in the video that you watch. What I'm missing is the ability to play it. It doesn't play like other games. Yeah, you control the commander like you do WASD, you move them around, but controlling your whole squad and doing the moves that you see in the videos does not come naturally.
No, yeah, no, yeah. I
So
don't know. Like, did you get to play as the Romans, or did you get to play as any of the other
I
factions?
think you only get to play as a Romans, at least at the beginning, because I'm doing the campaign.
Oh,
I
okay,
think
okay, okay.
if I were to play just battle, I could probably play the different ones. But yeah, I got to play this on easy and get my feet under me because I mean I wasn't getting basic things. Sometimes I can't hire guys. Don't know why. I just maxed out at 2 guys, and that happened like half of the games. And I don't know what I was doing wrong. I had plenty of money. There's no cap. I mean, my cap was 25. I don't know what was going
So a
on.
tutorial?
There's no
You
tutorial.
there's
Oh,
probably
yeah.
like 50 guys in a fucking corner waiting to be told what
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. I was totally thinking that they're stuck somewhere. But no, my money wasn't going down when I was pushing the higher button. So I don't know what was going on. I was literally typing in how to play Shieldwall into YouTube when I noticed it was 5 o'clock. And so that's why I ran in here. So yeah, I need
Oh,
to learn.
jeez.
Well, it is in early access, so they may not have added like the tutorial elements or
Yeah.
some of the basic stuff yet.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, it's fucking brutal game, man. It's a lot of dichotomy because you're playing these like little tiny Lego men. That's what they look
They
like
look
the
like
most.
Legos,
Yeah,
yeah.
little Lego men. They're really cute and kind of like plump, and then they're just slaughtering each other. Blood's flying.
And
Yeah.
they say like hilarious things. They're like, "Kill them all!" Like they have really bad voices. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Nice,
So
$13.99, not a bad price for a game like
I
this.
paid. It was on sale last week. I paid $8.50.
Hmm,
Yeah.
not
that's
bad
not
at
bad
all.
at all.
Not on Game Pass.
Not on Game Pass that I know of. I should have checked. I broke my
Hmm.
own rule, my Game Pass rule.
So as far as what I played, my friends were like, I got peer pressured into buying a game. It's called Tribes of Midgard, and I think this also may be the new game night game. The reason being is that you can play up to 10 players, and to describe the game, it's like Don't Starve Together mixed with like Diablo. So um, you are consistently defending a center point in a village, as well as like venturing out of the village to get equipment and like mats. And you have vendors in the center of the village that you need to constantly upgrade. Because like you start off with like a flint pickaxe and a flint uh X. Well, anyways, the game is all about surviving as long as you can, and so in the beginning you kind of have no abilities. Every weapon type has its own abilities, along with like if a weapon type has a certain element, it has its own abilities. Um, what's nice about the game is that you can join at any point in anyone's session, and the game is essentially a roguelike. Because my none of my friends have ever gotten past night 11 or night 12, but apparently what people have been saying online, like the game gets very very long, and you pretty much have to have like a perfect run to get to a like past like rank 15. um
But that doesn't
Now
really
when you
matter if you're just having fun every time. I
exactly,
kind of feel
and like
like
the, I guess
Risk of Rain was like that. If you have a killer run in Risk of Rain, you play infinitely. You can go be there 3 hours. Like it would never end. And but it doesn't
yeah.
matter because you're having fucking blast. So I kind of feel like that's what this is.
And so this game sells you like you're like, oh, what's the point of playing if all your stuff goes away at the end, right? Well, the game, you unlock more classes, you unlock more shit to play as, but like the other thing you unlock is like you unlock like these pre-made sets. And like nothing really gives you like too much of an advantage. It's not like, hey, like I've gotten to like level 17 or whatever, or gotten to like way farther than you have, and therefore I start the game and I'm way stronger than you. It's not like that at all.
Just more
You essentially
options.
get, huh?
More options. Right.
Exactly, but
More.
not only that, there's these things called starter kits, and so like normally when you play the game, like the first thing you have to do is you have to gather flint and sticks, so you can make a flint axe and a flint pickaxe, and then you begin to cultivate stone, and you make a stone sword, and then you like make armor, and like that process varies because of the starter kits. Like you'll get starter kits that like you already start with a pickaxe, however, you can gather this item faster or whatever, and so it's consistently changing on like how you play the game. You get rewarded for playing other classes. You also get there's a lot to do in the game, I should say. Like that's point number one. Number two, like I said, it's 10 players. The only thing that's kind of upsetting is like once you get past like round like night 5, because they're not, it's day and night cycle. Once you get past night 5, that is when you like nobody else should join, because if it's night 3, right, and I join your game, Emilio, I start off with nothing, so I have to go get all that shit to be able to catch up to you guys. Now your friends can drop you stuff as far as like materials and stuff, but like there you play catch up in that game, like in that round,
Yeah, and
and like
maybe like past 5. Like the game gets harder the more people you add, right?
yes, and I think it goes every 2 people. It gets harder
Oh, okay.
because it wants you to play with a lot of friends.
Because I
Um,
could imagine like having some naked dude show up when you're at level 10 and be
yeah,
making gods come down because he's the 10th guy, and you're like, what the fuck, dude? You're not really pulling your weight around here.
yeah, and oh, there's like a building aspect to the game. So like, you can go down ledges, but you can't go up them unless you get material to build. And building material allows you to go up ledges where like more valuable things are located. And so like at one point you have to start gathering silver, but silver only spawns above floor number 1. So you just you build shit to get up there. Eventually it gets to the point where you're teleporting so far from the center town that you no longer can see it on the map, and you're trying to complete these quests and you're trying to complete these dungeons before it hits nighttime. And once it hits nighttime, you have to return back to town and defend the town. Now, what's nice is that you can upgrade the vendors, and so not only do they sell better shit, but they become stronger and they fight for you.
It sounds like
So
an action Valheim.
that's pretty much what it is. It's way more action, way more like skill based. The only thing that I will say, there's a tiny bit of net coding problems. There's a couple times where like I clearly blocked, or and like
That's what they
yeah,
all
I
say.
blocked midair
Yeah,
before the
sure,
arrow hit
buddy.
me.
Sure.
and it like didn't even hit me. It hit the person behind me, and we were just like, "What the fuck?" But it's a great game. I only get to play like an hour of it. I'm gonna play more of it after the podcast with my friends, and because I don't work tomorrow, so
This sounds dope, dude. I like
yeah, it's only
everything
20
that you
bucks.
said.
This game,
It's
I've
all
been looking at this one recently because it's been really popular, but then I've also heard a lot of really negative reviews about it. And I think
whatever
the
you
meta.
heard bad about it, and I can tell you if it exists or not.
Okay, well, I haven't looked into it. That's the thing.
Okay,
I don't know what the negative ones are, but it's sitting at a 75 on Metacritic. I'm not sure what the Steam reviews are. It looks like it's mostly
Yeah,
positive.
because after an hour of playing, Nick, you're basically a scholar, right? Yeah, we
76
get
on
it.
no.
Steam.
So I pretty much interviewed one of my friends because he in the past week he has 19 hours in the game, and he
Mhm.
just bought it on Monday, so he's pretty much addicted to it. Um,
If you ever
but
want to
yeah,
have
he
one of those guys come on, dude, I'm sure they speak better than you, so we could have them come on and do an interview real quick.
I mean, I can ask him. Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's. I would love to see it like a DLG game night in this, possibly, maybe.
Yeah, 10 players. I mean, it
Yeah,
definitely worked for Valheim. Fucking our Discord was alight with the magic of Valheim for a little while.
yeah, they were
I
all
still
over.
dream about it. I have Valheim dreams, dude, where I'm, you know, in Viking land having a good time with my buds.
Well,
It
what
was
happened to
scary.
that
I
game?
remember.
Did they just not update it, or people lost interest?
Update for Valheim just got released actually, but it's like Hearth and Home, so it's all
The
new
building.
recipes and
Yeah.
like stuff to make your house beautiful. There's some new stuff you can adventure on, but mostly it's for like crafting.
All right.
Well, I'm not huge on gathering resources for crafting is I hate it. But like you being under a time limit on a day night cycle makes it exciting. Like you got to get out there, you got to get the shit, you got to get home. I like it. Fenrir. That's from
Oh yeah, it's
Swag.
obviously Nordic themed. So like you're in Jotunheim and there's Fenrir and there's giants and all this other
Mhm.
shit. So if you like that aspect or that kind of art or mythos, that is the game for you, man.
Maybe
Uh,
that's the new business strategy is to make a 10-player co-op game. So
you
your
at
one
least sell
annoying
10.
friend sells 10 copies to his
Yeah.
other friends.
No, dude. They okay, so they put that in there. Oh yeah, 10 people. Cool. Guess what? Nowhere near that clicky cookie game. Can,
Yeah, still not as many
yeah,
players
still
as,
not.
And
as
that
Cookie
game's
Clicker.
$5 for the cookie clicker. Jeez.
Whew. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to talk about our game of the week, Psychonauts 2.
Our game of the
Yeah.
weeks. I kind of like I like that title, the game of the weeks, because it's a couple weeks before most of them, we can get around to playing enough to talk about it. Yeah, I actually played it for, I don't know, I must be on my 5th hour now. What about you guys? How long did you play it?
I'd say about that.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm at 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm having a fantastic time with this. I flirt with the idea of actually beating this game. I want to keep going. I'm really enjoying it. It's everything that the first game. It's like everything you want out of a
Yeah, it's a
sequel.
proper sequel.
It's a proper sequel. Yeah. It's
It's
Oh,
got
Dude,
that
I love how
signature
this
double
game had me
fine
actually
flip.
like legitimately laughing. Just like the small amounts of jokes and shit that the
And-
game says.
and not
It's so
just
good.
that, dude. Like there's jokes in there for joke's sake. Like there are things that you have to go and you search out, and like I'm talking about, like when you're using the clairvoyance, the majority of the clairvoyance abilities are just like little jokes to make you laugh. Like it's there's a lot of things in this game just for your enjoyment and not mechanics for advancing your character, which is nice. Like that doesn't happen in games very much anymore.
Clairvoyance, I hated the concept of the ability. I'm like, oh, this is fucking useless,
Let's
right?
talk
There's no
about it
real
real
point in
quick.
using this. But just even like looking at people just to look at yourself and see how they see you is fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great.
Well, clairvoyance is when you take control of someone else's mind and you see through their eyes. A lot of games have that mechanic. But yeah, when you see yourself through their eyes, you're usually some sort of cardboard cutout, or I think the rat sees you as like a big rat that looks all friendly.
Wearing a costume.
Yeah, it's very comical.
Yeah, and then you could see how other people see each other. So There was this one where a girl was looking at the guy, and she's clearly in love with him. There's hearts floating around him and stuff.
Mhm.
And then you check on him, and he's just thinking about bacon. Like he can't even.
Yeah.
He
That
can't.
guy, oh
He can't
man.
even
I fucking
see
love
her.
that shit.
He can't see her through the cloud of bacon that's going around in his mind. It's pretty great. Um, really, let's talk about what it is. Let's break it all down. This is an action adventure game, 3D platformer, where you play from the third person perspective. You play as a psychic. That in the first game, I believe you were at the camp for psychics, kind of
Mhm.
like a summer camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, something goes bad, a la fucking Harry Potter. And then, although pre Harry Potter, if I'm right, 15 years ago, right around
Yeah,
about the
in the
same
middle
time.
of Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Harry Potter's pretty long.
And then, so this is the sequel where you have kind of graduated to the big leagues, but they put you in the intern program where you're with a bunch of other like young kids um, trying to become
Better
an
assholes.
actual agent. Yeah, and they're fucking pricks. They're you're always trying to prove yourself to everybody, basically. But what keeps this game, what made the magic the first time, and I mean, I've said it so many times on this podcast, the level design is based on the personality of the person you're invading. And so it leads to a ton of just cool looking things that go along. It all makes sense, but you wouldn't see them in other games. So like the first level that you're in is you're in a dentist's mind, an evil
Yes.
dentist. So there,
Mhm.
a lot of teeth, gums, all that stuff. It's
Dude,
gross.
it's so fucking
Yeah,
gross.
it's really gross, but it's a lot of fun. Um, so that's what it is, and you have a lot of abilities. You have like pyrokinesis, telekinesis, all that stuff. Yeah, but I've talked enough. I really like it. I love it, actually.
Did you this is one way I found like a measure of like how much do you like games like this? Were you consistently looking for collectibles as you played?
I'm just looking for stuff, dude. And not talking to about what I was saying earlier. I don't even care if it's a collectible or something that's for the game per se. Like I keep finding things that are just for my enjoyment, like little things written on the wall that are just kind of funny, and that really speaks to the passion that the people that made these worlds put in.
Well,
Oh yeah. No,
they
like
have a lot of. Oh, go ahead,
what
Nick.
about you, Bobby?
Well, they have a lot of hidden items that you have to go and search out. And a lot of games do that, so it forces you to explore the map and actually get use out of the terrain. And it's not just cosmetic stuffs in this game though. So they'll have lot or emotional baggage, which is a crying suitcase or something, and you'll hear it crying, so you know it's there. But you have to find the tag for it, and then bring the tag to the suitcase.
Yeah,
And then that will actually, I can't remember what that does, but that actually upgrades your character in some way. So there's a lot of things like that. And I go back and forth on this with games. I mean, it's nice that they put stuff in there, but then every now and then I just like to play a game where I don't have to worry about checking
Scouring the whole
every
map.
corner, like going
yeah.
into the map and just checking every little wall for details for something that's hidden, because that can get really exhausting.
And I'll put it two ways. I just talked about how I like searching every nook and cranny in this game, but then I have had full reviews where I'm like, "There's no hidden shit. There's no pickups in this whole game," and I love it. I just ran through the game, and I've definitely had those reviews too. So it depends on the game. And it depends how it's done.
Yeah.
I think this game pulls it off pretty well. Oh, one thing I don't like is, or I'm getting used to, is there's things that you just clearly can't get. You can see them, but you can't
Yes.
get. A la Zelda. And I will spend too much time trying to get it, and then let her figure out that I get an ability that lets me get up there or through that or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
Let me
So
guess the first time that happened to you,
the
the
poster.
white floating circles.
Oh no, it was the poster. There was a poster that you have
Oh.
to burn down, but you don't have pyrokinesis at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah. No,
I
no,
yeah.
mine was the there's like these little like floating circles that
They're
if you were
called
to look at any other games,
random
that
thoughts.
it like they would symbolize confusion. but yeah, you eventually unlock an ability to be able to use those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so another thing, I like this game too. I think it's a great game, but I did have a few things that I didn't really enjoy about it, and this might be just my own personal thing. I think watching a lot of Pixar movies has ruined the humor because I played the first Psychonauts and I thought, oh, how inventive. You go inside someone's mind, they've got all these cool manifestations of these abstract and vague terms, right?
Mhm.
And they do the same thing in this game, the exact same thing, but this time around, I'm kind of sick of it. It's like, okay, it's doubt. Doubt's this gray blob and it drags you down. So the enemies called doubt actually slow you down, or they're that
Right.
goo. And then there's
Yeah.
the sensors that stamp you out and they want to ban you. And I'm just like, all right, I get it. It's like a Pixar movie. You're explaining emotions to kids. Like, this is Inside Out. Okay, we've been through this probably 50 times in the last 15 years. So it didn't quite work as well on me this time around, but I mean, I still think it's a great game. The gameplay like actually picks up pretty well. I was worried it was just going to be like a walkthrough basically, but there's actually, you know, a good amount of combat and a lot of different things. You know, you can double jump or do the hop back and forth off the walls. Like, it's a pretty good platformer in itself.
And it's every piece of this is done well. There's nothing that where you're like, oh, this is a glaring problem with this game.
Yeah.
There was one fight when I had all three enemies coming at me at once. I had the emotion. No, I had doubt. I had the you just said the sensors, and then I had the tooth fairies. Are they tooth fairies?
The little
Dude,
the ones that weigh you down with the weight, the little mosquito with the weight. What
Yeah.
were those? I can't remember.
Oh, yes. What are they called?
I can't remember. But
Fuck.
it's again, it's some sort of emotion, but it's
Yeah.
a physical representation of it.
Yeah. So anyway, I was fighting all three at once, and right after I finished the fight, I was like, "Ooh, that was a little Doom-esque," because each one of the enemies is kind of susceptible to one of your abilities. So
Yes.
you gotta keep moving while your cooldowns are going off, and you gotta keep hitting the right ones
Yeah.
with the right things. And I thought that was cool.
And I
you
feel
know?
like Z is kind of a weird key for the lock-on ability, although I hardly ever use that. in
I never
games.
used it.
Yeah,
I never
more
used
of a
it.
console
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, and just kind of a general complaint about games in general.
Take this, Psychonauts.
What applies to Psychonauts too. I feel like cutscenes are always too long. I hate when I load up a game and I sit through 4 minutes of cutscenes. I don't know, but that's just me.
I'm with you if they're not done so
If they're
well.
not funny,
Yeah,
or like they're
I
not
feel like these are
useful or
done so
not
well.
good.
I wouldn't sit through any story, but I'm digging the story. I'm digging everything about this game. So
Who's
many
your
puns.
who's your favorite Psychonaut?
I kind of like Misha. I like his the way he carries himself.
Misha. Okay. The Sarge is really funny to me. Only because just the way he like talks to everybody and
Yeah.
talks about everything, but when he's actually like challenged, he just like runs away. Like in the first fucking level, he's like, "Oh, why don't you take care of this?" And then he like runs away.
Yeah.
It's funny as shit to me.
Yeah, it's funny. These are all the same characters from the first game. But yeah. Anyway, for me, strong recommendation, especially on Game Pass. This is a $60 game, straight up. Like I would not complain for a second if somebody told me this was $60.
What's the total runtime on this game? I wonder how long it is.
I'm not sure.
No clue.
But look at the reviews. Listen to us. It's a great platformer, and PC does not have a lot. We don't have Ratchet and Clank. We don't have
We don't have anything like this.
we don't have Super Mario or Super Mario World or any of that stuff. So this is where you're gonna get it, and this is the one to play.
All right, so about 13 hours for the main story, 18 and a half for main and extras.
Yeah,
seems about right.
It's a recommendation for me.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a so far 4.5 out of 5 recommendation for me.
So 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Yeah.
Okay, 18 out of 20. Got
Yep.
it.
Math.
Is that where you're landing, Bobby?
It's all right. I don't think I'm as taken with it as you guys. Like when I feel like I do kind of want to keep playing a little bit more, but I really don't know if I will. We'll see.
So cynical, Bobby.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Why do you hate happiness?
These aren't my types of games, though. You know, the action platformers. I never play these games.
Character design too. Just real quick. Everybody's so weird looking, like
Oh yes,
so strange,
Hmm.
and they're
so
just
many
regular
weird shaped
humans.
heads, so many weird shaped bodies and
Yeah,
noses and shit.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah, go play this. Don't even listen to our next episode. This is a good game.
No. Listen to our episode. We need
Yeah,
those.
wait 2
we need those
weeks and
views.
then listen to both of them. All right, there you go.
All right. So, Nick, I
Mhm.
hear you've got a quiz for us after our quiz show last week, our 2 quiz shows last week. It's now your turn to host.
Oh God, I mean, I only have one for one of you,
Oh, okay.
and that's Emilio.
Really quickly,
Um,
Pyronical is asking if Psychonauts worth playing first. I mean, it's 99 cents, but it's very dated.
It's
yeah,
pretty
it's
old.
it's quite a long game.
I
Like
would,
to be able to just catch up on the story while the first cutscene catches you up on the story.
yeah. There's like a 5 minute cutscene that cuts you up with everything, so you don't even need it.
Yeah, I would definitely just play Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
Another thing about Psychonauts 2 that's nice is that most of the abilities that you take hours to get in the first game, you get immediately. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
like the ball running, the floating, all the other kinds of attacks, like you get them immediately. And then there's still more shit to learn beyond in the game.
Yep.
So
Yeah, fuck games that start you off at 0 on part 2.
yeah, no, that's my character bonked his head and he forgot how to shoot a gun.
You were struck
That's
by
so
lightning.
It's like amnesia in soap operas. So I don't
Uh,
think this is not a versus quiz. You're just quizzing Emilio, right?
Yes, I am quizzing Emilio.
But when Emilio gets something
It's a
wrong,
Binding of Isaac quiz because he chose two things that we love a lot. You know, Bobby loves Star Wars, probably more than Sniper. I'll say that.
I don't know.
And then Emilio loves Binding of Isaac, and I love Warhammer. So Emilio decided to quiz me and Bobby on this, or on those two things that we love. So I'm going to quiz Emilio on these things from the game. So the first one's going to be a gimme, like you did for both of us, right?
the downside of this right now is I'm not actively playing Binding of Isaac, and it's been a little bit. Although I help Sam while she plays, so hopefully that helps me. All right, let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to describe an item. All right.
Oh shit, it's the reverse. Okay.
Isaac tears are replaced with a charged blood laser beam. The beam is piercing and
Brimstone.
spectral, dealing damage to all enemies, ignoring all obstacles in its path.
Brimstone.
Okay, that was a gimme. All right.
Yeah.
That's your 1 out of 5. This item spawns a familiar which follows Isaacs and picks up any nearby coins. This character
Bumbo.
changes level based on the amount of coins it has collected.
Bumbo.
Correct. What item allows you to your tier delay to go below the in-game built limit of 2?
I don't know how to spell it, but it's like it gives you one giant tier. It's a Psychro.
So I will give you a hint. You are saying the opposite. So you got to remember your tier delay.
Oh.
When it's lower, it's faster.
Oh. Gotcha. It's probably soy milk.
Soy. That is correct.
Yeah.
So there's only 2 ways to get your tier delay below 2. One is getting soy milk. The other is getting mom's. Do you know this? Do you know how to get your tier delay below 2 with normal tiers besides soy milk?
No.
So you need to get mom's coin purse, the thing that lets you generate usable items.
Yeah.
Or no, generates trinkets and doubles the effect of trinkets. And then you need to get the
Cancer
trinket
twice.
that gives you -2
Yeah.
tier delay, and you can get it down to 1. So you
Double.
can shoot brimstone instantaneously.
Double cancer.
Yeah, double. Yeah. This is a lore game. Who is Guppy in and out of the game?
Guppy is Isaac's dead cat, and probably Edmund's either dead cat, childhood cat, or living cat. I don't know.
Recently deceased cat. Can you guess its age?
I'm gonna say 17.
A little above. The answer is 12.
Oh, all right.
And this is the big brain challenge.
That's not an X, dude. I got 90% of that.
No,
I'm just
no,
gonna get
I
the-
would give it to him. I'd give him like a check mark with the tiny X next to it.
Fucking tough crowd over here, dude. I get 90% of the what? All right. The cat's age is what I got wrong.
Yeah, it was the bonus part of the question, anyways. So this last one is I'm going to describe an item like the first question, and you're going to have to tell me what it is, all right?
All right.
What item is acquired by defeating the first 4 boss in under a minute, navigating back to the starter room and bombing the floor you start on, and eventually is combined with another item to unlock the Forgotten?
Is it the piece of paper? Some
No, I will say the hint I will give you is that it involves dirt.
uh, the shovel? I don't know.
So the answer is broken shovel.
Broken shovel.
So what it is you get the broken shovel from the first boss, which allows mom to chase you while you're playing, and then eventually you get the shovel head and you create mom's shovel. And then at the end of the game, when you get to Mega Satan or like any of those bosses later on in the game, you get to those the gates. You have to find like the disturbed earth and then dig it up, and then you get the Forgotten. But you did really good. You got 4 out of 5.
Yeah, thanks, man. Not according to Chris. This
Well, Chris is
entertained the
just-
whole 3 people out there.
Chris is just mad he doesn't
Yeah,
like
I didn't
Star
get
Wars.
any of that.
Yeah.
But no, like I'm dying to play Binding of Isaac. What is it called?
Repentance.
Repentance, and it was supposed to come out this month for PS5, and now they're talking about delaying it. So Leslie's gonna kill somebody because she loves the game as well.
You know what
But,
this
yeah,
reminds
no,
me of? A long time ago, maybe like 20 years ago, there was a show on Comedy Central called Beat the Nerds. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, kind of.
So they would have these nerds come on, and they would be a South Park nerd or a Simpsons nerd or like a Harry Potter nerd, and they would be experts in a certain category. And then contestants would come on, and then they would quiz against them and try to beat the nerds. And I remember watching a good amount of it back in the day, but recently I started looking it up again because I remembered the show, and oh man, yeah, not as good as I remember. A lot of that old Comedy Central stuff does not age well. But
No,
if this was still around, then you could be the Binding of Isaac nerd. I'm just saying, you could wear your little robe and be up there, and yeah,
Not with a 4 out of 5. No, I can't.
not with a forehead.
Although that was a pretty deep cut.
Yeah,
That's
no, man.
you,
Like
that's content that you use once to unlock the lost, and then that's it. I don't think you ever.
yeah,
see
you never use it again because it has no real use.
Yeah, except for that one thing you do for. Yeah.
yeah.
We're talking about a game that has 600
Over 450 items.
Yeah, but including trinkets and all that, it's got to be over 600.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
What's your favorite item?
The Super Mario mushroom is pretty great.
Mega Mushroom?
I just like when I see it. You know, you're like, oh shit, the mushroom, and I like it because it can pop out of any mushroom in the game if you blow them up. You know, and it just 1 in a million. It happens, and you're like, oh, this is one of the strongest things in the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, mine is a small rock. Same concept.
thing.
Like you can just find it in any fucking rock,
Yeah.
in any rock.
Yep.
And you can just get a super strong item.
Yep. That's why Sam. Okay, I don't want to get too much into it, but she goes around the entire level and blows everything up and looks under every carpet, and so playing the game for her takes like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then for me it's like under 20 minutes.
Do you want to hear Leslie's thing?
I don't know if anybody cares. I mean, even about like Sam's thing too. But yeah, go ahead.
She hates when I use pills.
Oh, really?
Dude, she's like, why even bother, Nicholas? Why? It can be it's gonna be bad every time, Nicholas. Just like, holy shit. She said, don't even use them. I don't care if you have PhD. Don't even use them. I was just
Wow.
like, all right.
Yeah, pills is like 45% chance of success, I would say.
Yeah. It is
But
not a good
I use them
time.
all the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
Using those pills all the time.
all the time.
All the time. But thank you for the quiz. We're gonna try to. If you got any kind of suggestive bit that you want us to do on the show, please let us know.
Specifically,
also-
ones that don't alienate 90% of our listenership would be great.
Yeah, that's probably a good point. Yeah. Shout out to Burn Division, by the way, for doing RNG with DLG on Friday. I appreciate you. For those who don't know, that is a segment that we're currently working on. We don't know if we're going to be continuing it. The feedback so far is pretty good. There are some minor tweaks that we need to do here and there. I'm going to try to get either Bobby or Emilio to do the next interview. I don't mind doing them, but I feel like people get tired of me talking and tired of seeing the same shit. But yeah, no, it's essentially we're interviewing community members. I believe the next game is, the next community member is Warconius. So hopefully that'll be next week. If Bobby or Emilio can't do it, unfortunately, you guys will have to deal with me again. And keep sending me in your feedback. I really appreciate you guys DMing me in Discord, suggesting things, suggesting changes, suggesting guests, and all that kind of stuff. And also hopping in while it's live. The only way to watch it right now is VODs on the Twitch channel, but if the segment gets approved the whole time, we will start to upload it on YouTube. And so yeah, we have a YouTube channel and an iTunes channel, and Chris is going to go ahead and promote that for us.
Oh, that was great. Great. So yeah, we do have a YouTube channel. Can watch everything live. You can see Emilio sweat during quizzes, and you can leave comments like this. I started listening to your podcast a few days ago. Then I wanted to see if you have any type of YouTube channel or something. Apparently, you do. Okay?
Nice.
And you can also leave us reviews on iTunes.
Oh, jeez.
This is a 1-star review by Chosen Toaster. It says, "Stop with the magic. Was good. Now it just seems like every show has a 20-minute ad for Magic: The Gathering built in. So don't keep your hate to yourself. Share it. Share all your opinions of the show, good, bad, and bad."
Yeah, well, I think we know who to blame for that. I don't want to point
Emilio,
fingers
we
here.
blame 100%
but,
to
You mean
Emilio.
You mean the magic that flows through this podcast that's kept us going for 8 years? Is that what we're
magic
talking
of
about?
love and care.
Yeah.
and
Then
sincere.
I am responsible. God damn it.
Oh boy.
But no.
You see, when I was addicted to Heroes of the Storm, at least I had the decency not to bring it up every single week. I'm just
I don't know,
saying
man, you're
that.
getting pretty close with Stardew Valley.
Guess who brought it up this week?
Maybe every other week.
Shitnobber 2000 or whoever fucking left this review. You brought it up this week. We hadn't talked about it, but now that we're here, yeah, I'm having a great time with it still. Thanks.
No comment. I like our fans.
Bobby, you want some tequila?
No, I'm
Okay.
good.
What has that worked in the last 12 years, Emilio?
Dude, one day he's just gonna like
One day he's just gonna contemplate his whole fucking existence, and he's gonna be like, you know what? Just give me it, and then just pound that shit to the ground, dude.
no, I was counting on that he's just gonna forget that he was dry.
Oh,
It's just gonna be like the old days, and he's gonna, oh yeah, a drink, yeah, sure, and he'll take it. The
I don't
downside
think
is,
that's gonna happen.
yeah, the downside is my mental lapse will happen way before his, and I'll forget about my crusade.
your fucking dementia will kick me like, who are you again?
Yeah, what are you doing here, stranger?
All right, we've got some listener questions. And first one comes from Hogglefosh. What happened to Star Wars Galaxy's playthrough? Was there a final conclusion? So maybe we should turn this over to Christian here. What did happen to Star Wars Galaxies?
Good thing he's here today. He's been vacationing, fucking jet setting around the world. We
Yeah,
hardly even
I'm,
knock him.
I'm almost too popular to be here, but I do schedule sometime on Sundays to record.
Don't forget the
Star
little
Wars-
people, Christian. Don't forget the little people got you where you are.
Don't forget the people that love you, okay?
That's obviously a joke. Okay, so the Star Wars Galaxy playthrough, it went good. My tailor shop is still active. I pretty much just log on to stock it up and to say hi to people, and I feel like that's why I like the game, because you can play like that, or you can go after the top mobs and top loot and stuff like that. They are updating it with Mustafar pretty soon, around the corner. That's a high level planet where you take like groups of 10. Yeah, but catch me at my tailor shop if you're in game.
Does it have a name?
Yeah, it's called F in Threads.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do you provide? Like, why would I go to your shop as opposed to somebody else's?
I focus on, like, everyone in the game likes black and white colors, and I focus on like bright neon, loud. I got loud shoes. I got loud vests. Yeah, come here if you have a sense of fashion and you don't want to be fucking lame. Basically, effing threads.
If you want to
Nice.
dress like a 1990s paper cup, come
Now,
with Chris.
Bobby, what was the main reason you never went back?
I just played a lot of it, and I don't know. I'm still sitting outside of Jabba's palace waiting to do that part, and I don't know. I just kind of played through it and enjoyed it, and didn't really continue. It kind of got to the point where I think I really needed to group up with people to go through that part, and yeah, it just didn't coordinate.
Yeah, I kind of see like I see you looking at Jabba's palace and then looking to the right and seeing 8-bit wine making and be like that that's where I need to go. That's forget this action and adventure throughout the stars. All right, what's next?
All right, next we have a question from Zap. If DLG Con was like E3 or PAX, what 3 developers or publishers would you invite to present, and what games would you want them to announce?
We've had Christian, can we actually start logging the really good questions? I feel like this one we
Yeah,
had
we were
this one
supposed to do.
last
Yeah.
week. We had a really good one, and then JP Diddy the week before. That's like 3 in a
I
row.
feel like you don't know it's a good question until you hear the response, though.
Well, that's up to us,
Yeah.
to fuck
but
it up. Devolver. Let's each pick one. Devolver Digital for me. I know they're a publisher, but they're batting like 900 with me, 950. It's incredible how much I'm in line with what they like. Yep.
All right. How about you, Nick?
I'm gonna go Hideo Kojima. I've always wanted to meet him. I've always wanted to talk to him, and it'd be fun to talk to somebody through translator. So
Okay. How about Blizzard? Whole Cosby suite just shows up. How about that?
yeah, we just call Chad, man.
We only have rooms for like 5 people, guys. I don't know.
Nah, Kojima can stay at my house. I got an extra
I feel
room.
like things would get interesting if we did that. But I don't know, developer or publisher. There's a few publishers that are developers that I have always been really interested in. Um, Ace Team in South America or
Brazil, right?
Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brazil?
I interviewed
Brazil.
Carlos from that team. It's 3 brothers that work on games, and they made a variety of types of games. And their most recent one, I think, just came out or is coming out on the Epic Game Store. They made the Rock of Ages games. That's their big one that everyone knows them from. But I've always been fascinated with their games, and that was my favorite interview to do. I don't know how it would be meeting people in person though, so I don't know.
Speaking of which,
Just
where?
real
Go
quick.
ahead.
Just because I know they listened to the show ever since Bobby interviewed them. They're Chilean.
Oh,
Chilean.
Chilean, that's right.
Wow, Bobby.
Okay.
You're just the worst fucking human
No, it's
being
my
in the world.
fault. I always think they're Brazilian. That's not his fault.
Oh.
I always say Brazil. Anyway, Chilean's way cooler.
Yeah, Chile. Man, I'd rather go to Chile than Brazil.
Yep.
But Chris, work your producer magic and get us some interviews with some devs, man.
It's funny. It used to be a thing that we used to do. It was
It used to be a
So
thing
someone
that
got drunk and got really fucking
that me and
fucked up
Christian
and
used
interviewed
to
a
do.
really high profile guest. What was that? Was that what happened?
I don't know what happened. I stopped sending emails. Is what happened really.
I couldn't. No one could keep a schedule except for me and Bobby, and then I couldn't anymore after my new job, and that's what happened to those interviews. So if you want to interview people, Nick, I'll gladly.
Nick, do you have
Dude,
your?
I'll do it. I'll
Edmund
fucking do it.
McMillan said yes for Emilio interview like 3 fucking times, and all I got was excuses from Emilio. Fucking
Bro,
excuses.
are you serious?
Is that what
Are you
happened?
serious, Emilio?
Yeah, he
This
had to
guy can
work
be
or
like
something.
he can make like a shitty Emilio item in the fucking game. You know,
Why
it
would it
could
have
be
to
like
be shitty?
alcoholism too, and it's you.
I know.
How do you not fucking do that? Like,
I deserve
ugh.
that. I
It could
deserve
be you,
all of it.
Nick. It could be you now. Yeah.
Yeah, you could be the
Nick,
guy.
do you have your own like Nick at dlgaming.net?
No, I don't have my own email address.
And then that's the guy sitting right above you. That's the guy. Well, 2 people above you. That's what.
Shit.
Yep.
But no, I am all down for writing questions and writing scripts for interviews and stuff. I would love to interview high profile people. I'll put on my nice Warhammer 40K shirt, and I'll interview whoever the fuck you want me to do.
Dance, monkey, dance. Old
My
Man
way.
Dave asks, with Divinity Original 2 showing that multiplayer can work in turn-based tactical games and work well, why do you think that almost no one else is including it in their games? Uh, I always refer to what Chad told me. Chad's in the game development sphere, and he said that 50% of development goes into the multiplayer. 50%. So
Wow.
you're making it so much. You're doubling your work when you decide to make that multiplayer um, leap. You know, and when you're going with an RPG which is so story driven and has so much depth, hopefully, and story and branching paths that usually doesn't work with multiple people. I'll say like right now, there are certain games that I probably rather play by myself. Um,
Like what?
like the cyberpunk one that we've been playing, Nick.
Oh, Ascent. The Ascent.
Yeah, the Ascent. The action parts, yeah, totally. Fucking awesome. We're in the sewers, we're killing tons of mutants. Amazing. Go into the city, I want to take my time. I want to talk to all these colorful people that have great voices and look at all and I don't want to weigh anybody down but with my time. It's almost like it's almost like it should be scheduled. Hey, let's dungeon delve for like 30 minutes and then we'll just call it a night and then everybody do their story stuff and then we'll schedule 30 or an hour or 2 hours some other night. You know what I mean?
You know what? So when we played Divinity Original Sin, and we played a bunch of other games, we had this. We essentially rolled to see who was the main character, and so we would say, "All right, Trevor, you're the main character, and we're your supporting characters. We'll make our own decisions, but you make all the story decisions, and
Mm.
you make." And so it was cool because when it came to like the conversations and everything, we could chime in via Discord or whatever, but like he would make all the actual story decisions, and it's actually good to play multiple playthroughs like that. That's one way to kind of liven that up, especially for like the Ascent, because when you're running around in that game, there's so much shit going on. Like you got JP Diddy fighting some fucking cyborg in the corner of the map, and you're trying to like talk to somebody and trying to like cure cancer, and like you're just fucking like, and Diddy's like, I'm down, and then you're like, it kills the vibe. But when you choose a main character in the group, I think it gives it a little bit more fun for everybody.
And the other thing too is like you're talking about the best. So you're like, why doesn't everybody in the NBA have a fadeaway 3 pointer like Jordan? Well,
Yeah.
Jordan's Jordan because he is. You can't. So much work went into their multiplayer and the way that it worked. Now, other people should copy it, but it's crazy that you could have a story going on over here and a story going on over here in the same town on the same playthrough with two different characters, and they don't necessarily have to jive with each other. They could have two opposing views, but you're in the same party, and eventually they're going to get together. But all of that shit, all those intricacies, all the fucking giant wall with fucking yarn going across with pictures to try to figure out how the fuck all these interwoven stories are going to work with each other when one guy tells somebody yes and the other guy tells somebody no, and they're the same faction. Like, what happens there? And they thought it all through. It is so much work, like infinite work.
I feel like they designed that game to actually be played multiplayer.
Yeah,
Like
first,
it is specifically
yeah,
multiplayer focused, and like they were like, you know what, you could play it single player, but play this bitch multiplayer, and you're gonna have way more fun.
yeah. They're the pinnacle, man. You can't compare other games to
Well,
it.
I don't know if he's referring to the combat of Divinity Original Sin 2. And I don't know when he says multiplayer if he means co op or versus. Because here's the thing, I had a great idea for a co op. This is my $1 million idea, $1 million idea. A versus and possibly a co op tactical turn-based shooter based on the Bad Batch, the new Star Wars show that's on Disney Plus.
Uh-huh.
Because
Did you like that?
I thought it was all right, man. I have a tough time with cartoons at my age. But when it came out, I thought this is a video game waiting to be made. You have these characters that have a very specific class and very specific abilities that work in tandem to do things. Like this is just, it's a co-op game waiting to be made. And I thought it would work extremely well in a tactical turn-based shooter. And then I started thinking, went off on a wild path here, but I started thinking, why doesn't somebody make a multiplayer game like this where you can build up your team and play against other people? But then it occurred to me that it would take so long to
Yeah.
wait for someone to take their turn.
Yeah.
And I know just from playing co-op in Divinity Original Sin 2 with Emilio, like sometimes I'm just doing nothing while you're figuring out what you're going to do. And it's partly because you built some weird mage battle character and I'm just like big sword, boom.
Yeah.
So my character is just like run over, hit, turns done. And then I got to wait like 10 minutes for you to be like, okay, I'm going to cast this. I'm going to do 6 damage. And then I'm going to move over here and hide behind that. And then I'm going to ignite him. And then I'm just like, I run up with a sword and just kill him.
Yeah, 100%. That's
Yeah.
exactly how it goes down.
It's pretty much how that run went down, or that run went down.
That's the problem with D&D too. You just sit
Mhm.
there while the other
Yeah.
5 people.
It's not good for gameplay. You just have this downtime. It's kind of like this problem that we were stuck in for the longest time with first-person shooters, where if you die, it's just like, okay, you're on timeout for 30 seconds.
Or longer,
Yeah,
minutes.
until battle royales came around and fixed that.
So what's your fix?
I don't have one yet.
Oh.
The $1 million idea
Where's
is
the
on
million?
hold.
Where's the $1 million at, Bobby?
I'll give you $350, dude. Dollars.
Yeah, I
Canadian.
don't know, because there's been strategy games where you plan out the action, then it all happens in real time or something like that. So I like Frozen Synapse, or I think Lemni's Gate was doing something weird like that. I
Oh,
don't know. There's
by
a
the way,
solution in there somewhere.
Did you see me tag you?
Oh, about Lemni's Gate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they explained what that actually meant on Twitter. They got back to
Oh,
us.
no. Well, go ahead. You can say that. You
Oh.
already talked about that, though.
Well, I can't remember, but they did explain what Lemni's Gate was, and it's based off of something. There's a reason why it's called that, because
Yeah.
we're really perplexed by the name.
I feel like it was, I don't know, some mathematical thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
no, it's free on Game Pass day 1.
Mm.
And then I tagged you, and I said that. And then I also said that, and 10 Atomicrops.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be on Game Pass, or is on Game Pass.
When is Lemni's Gate coming out?
I think this month.
Okay.
This month or next month.
All right. They said Lemni's Gate is a play on Lemnis Gate, which is the name for the infinity symbol. Since the game matches take place in a time loop, we thought it was a fitting title. Makes sense. God.
I thought Lemmy Skate is when skateboarders are like trying to. Never mind. Let me skate.
So,
Let me skate.
You
Just
start
let me
tell-
skate, man.
Oh my God, dude. It's so
I know,
bad when you
but-
make it halfway through a joke and you're just like, never.
Because it was like it was gonna take me too long to bring it all the way around. And look, now we're all laughing because I quit.
Oh, God.
So Bobby, Leslie just messaged me, and she's like, it fixes Bobby's issue about, turn time, like waiting for someone to do anything is just shorter turn timers.
Shorter
know?
turn timers. Yeah, you could do
Yeah,
that.
just like literally like in Division Original Sin, I think you have 2.5 minutes to decide what you want to do.
Yeah, but then you
Like,
start
that
edging
bit's 30
towards a real
seconds.
time strategy, though, because the nice thing about a strategy game is you can be an old man like me and just sit and think about your moves, ponder, look at the chessboard,
Mhm.
and you don't have to worry about like all the young kids with their quick reactions and stuff. So I don't know. It's a fine line, man.
Going back to Summoner's Gate, dude, real quick. Imagine if your XCOM guys would just look up at you, waiting, like, are you gonna send me to my death? Like, oh man, it's creepy. What a weird choice for them to make. In
Now,
that
some
game.
games do that though. If you let your character idle for a long time, they'll turn around and look at you or say something to you.
Creepy.
I'm trying to think of a game that does that. I know I've seen it.
I know in
Warcraft multiple times. Yeah.
Hideo Kojima's game, the newest one.
Death Stranding.
Death
Yeah,
Stranding.
Death Stranding. If you look at his dick for too long, if you put the camera on his dick, he grabs the camera and punches it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Funny.
And
There's been a bunch of that. He always does that shit in his games. Like there's one where in Metal Gear Solid 3, if you look at Eva when she's getting undressed and she has like a bikini top on, she like tells Snake, she's like, calm the fuck down, essentially, you know, and like it punishes you for looking at her. There's a bunch of other shit in every Metal Gear Solid game for that. Like there's always like pin up girls in lockers in every fucking level and all this shit. And he's always pervy in all of his games.
So what are we playing next week?
Oh, who's deciding game of the week this week?
Oh
Isn't it
shit!
Bobby?
It's been so long.
Yeah, God, who knows?
I
you.
think we go clockwise, so I think it's you, Bobby.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll think of something. And I'm not sure what I'm going to play. Like I said, I'm at the end of Stardew Valley, so it's not going to be that. But I'll get into something.
Okay.
We'll see where the wind takes me. I know we got big games coming up. Back for Blood, Age of Empires 4 at the end of October. So big things coming up, but they're still a little too far away.
Don't make me play that.
No, I
Don't make you
wouldn't
play
choose
what?
one of those.
Yeah, I'm gonna give Shieldwall a little bit more. I don't know. It was $8. I'm not gonna return it. I don't know. I'm on the fence. Obviously, I'm gonna keep playing Psychonauts.
Yeah,
See how that goes.
I am too. I'm gonna wait until Bobby decides the game of the weeks. I feel like any game that's not a story game, like if it's multiplayer, it should be game of the week. But if it's like story based, like Psychonauts or something, it should be game of the weeks.
We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Yeah, Mila's been probably sitting right next to me watching 75% of my playthrough, and she's just enjoying the hell out of it, you know. And it's good having an extra set of eyes, you know, pointing out little things that I missed or whatever. So that's been nice. But yeah, Psychonauts is the only thing I can say for sure. Oh, and magic.
Cool.
And more magic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
All right,
that's an
Be on the
episode.
lookout for uploads on YouTube and iTunes. Thank you so much for listening.
Speaking for Bobby, Nick, and myself, magic tits, sprinkles, sparkles. Bum, bum, ba, da, 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 da. Bobby, going to a Labor Day party after this. You want to come?
I'm going to go home and lift weights.
Yeah. Weightlifting. Let's go get on the trampoline. Come on, dude.
Maybe.